balds to the wall. That's bald with a D, because basically no one in this movie has any hair. Straight Outta Compton, critically acclaimed director F. Gary Gray takes over the reins of everyone's favorite car racing action series, which drove back into theaters on April 14, 2017, with its unthinkable 8th installment. Early returns from the Chinese market have already set records, so it seems likely this PG-13 rated flick will continue the franchise's box office dominance, with $1 billion seeming possible. Propped up by a massive $250 million budget, the 136-minute thrill ride is overstuffed with fast cars, loud explosions, cool gadgets, plenty of surprises, and an all-star cast. When a mysterious cyber-savvy villain leverages gearhead-turned-international savior Dom Toretto into becoming a violent terrorist, his crew is forced to go after him. Starring in his 6th outing as no-nonsense Dom, Vin Diesel leads a giant family, which includes Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Chris Bridges, Nathaniel Emmanuel, Kurt Russell, Scott Eastwood, Helen Mirren, Charlize Theron, and even a few familiar faces from past entries. Juggling a cast of this size is no easy feat, but remarkably each player has an opportunity to really contribute without anyone feeling like an afterthought. We've got mothers, daughters, fathers, sons, cousins, and girlfriends in this picture, which is why it sometimes feels a bit like watching a soap opera during sweeps week. As for their acting ability, by now you likely know what to expect from this group, who sell the impossible scenarios with enough charisma and camaraderie to make up for any thespian shortcomings. It was nice to see Rodriguez get a beefier role here, after being little more than a plot device in the last few films, while Mirren feels right at home in her brief appearance. Handsome newcomer Eastwood seems poised to fill the straight-edged white guy shoes of the late Paul Walker, but his limited screen time appears to be writer Chris Morgan testing the waters. Gibson does predictably great work as the comic relief, but is even more useful as the in-universe skeptic, preemptively addressing the audience's concerns and questions during the more unbelievable moments, or as it's known on TV tropes, lampshade hanging. These characters are ones we've grown to know and love over the past 7 installments, so when the film jumps into the end of an early heist sequence, it doesn't matter that we missed the crime itself. We're so familiar with these characters it feels like watching an episode of your favorite TV show, which is one I would totally watch, by the way. Seriously, it's a soap opera with explosions. While downtown Cleveland is a reasonably convincing stand-in for lower Manhattan, it's a 10-minute Cuban cold open in Havana that really makes excellent use of its locale. Watching Vin drag race backwards down the picturesque Malecon roadway with his engine on fire is a truly awesome moment. And having just vacationed in Cuba 4 weeks ago, it was quite a treat for me to see that beautiful country again, making its first appearance in a Hollywood film in decades. This pre-title sequence is also a wonderful throwback to the 16-year-old franchise's roots, when it was just about short skirts and pink slip races. As Dom is quick to remind his rival, it's not about what's under the hood. The only thing that matters is who's behind the wheel. Following the tragic death of franchise lead Paul Walker, the film's star and producer Diesel already had his hands full trying to continue the franchise without him, and reportedly an on-set feud with Johnson didn't help any. Their relationship was so frosty that certain scenes had to be reworked so they would avoid having to be on the same set together. And while you might not even notice the film's 2 biggest characters share only a single scene together, you will feel that there's something missing. Indeed, Dom's initial betrayal of the group is by directly attacking Johnson, a conflict that remains unaddressed and unresolved at the picture's end. Because of this oft-screen rift, The Fate of the Furious has somewhat of a parallel plot thing going on, with Diesel seemingly in a movie all by himself. It hurts the cohesiveness of the narrative, but thankfully the trademark action sequences are still as insane as ever. Like the ambitious middle-act set piece that literally has cars raining from rooftops. Even for this franchise, though, that sequence was way too preposterous. But the fan favorite will likely be a surprisingly fun close-quarters sequence late in the film that has Statham cracking jokes and cracking skulls. The dance-like gunplay and choreography is reminiscent of John Wick, if that character acted way more cheeky. At this point, though, the Fast franchise has completely embraced the fact that these characters are legit superheroes. A prison escape brawl has our frenemy protagonist sliding under doors and jumping off walls like roided-up Spider-Men.
Lock the door open, get back to your cell!
It's just a malfunction.
Get back!
Just a malfunction. Stop him! Don't let him get away!
The big-budget film showcases expectedly excellent stunts and practical effects, which are constantly dreaming up new ways of destroying million-dollar show cars, with a perfect amount of gorgeous slow motion. Brian Tyler returns to compose the score for his 5th Furious film, but as usual it's the screeching tires and busted glass that overwhelms the auditory experience. Although it's arguably just as fun and bananas as the last few installments, it's the somewhat disconnected narratives and Walker's noted absence that hurt this picture from equaling the heights of its predecessors. And much like a Nissan Skyline without a spoiler, the picture tends to drag a bit towards the halfway mark. But after the dust settles and the crew enjoys yet another barbecue reunion, you can't help but smile one more time. Fans like myself are sure to love this on plenty of rewatches, which is why Fate gets an 8. Oh, and by the way, if you have the chance, see this one in D-Box, it is a literal ride. That does it for this quick excerpt, but if you'd like to watch full episodes of Movie Night and submit your own reviews to be included on the show, please visit Jogwheel.com. My name is Jonathan Paula, thanks for watching, and have a good movie night.